Good morning, everybody. Today we're reading through, uh, yeah, that one, right? It's Exodus 10 to 12. Um, and here we see that the only one who's not respecting Moses and God really is Pharaoh, because we see the officials of Egypt going to Pharaoh and saying, "Listen, Egypt is destroyed. What are you doing here?" And Pharaoh wouldn't relent. And we see that the people considered Moses to be a great man, and they honored him as a great man. And we see again yesterday, we read about God explaining to Pharaoh that he could wipe them out with a disease at any time and just destroy a disease specific to the Egyptians and not affect anybody else. But he didn't want to destroy them. He didn't want to kill them. That wasn't his purpose. His purpose was so that they would know his power, but also to glorify himself among the nations. So the nations, this is where God is going from God and he's becoming Yahweh. He's becoming known. He was worshipped really as the unknown God. He was worshipped as the creator, but not for himself as Yahweh. And here we see him telling Moses the reason that he's doing it this way is basically to give them a testimony. He is just establishing this as an anchor point for them to look back at and to be able to instruct their children so that they could explain to the children, this who Yahweh is. This is what he has done for us. And we'll see generation after generation after generation referring to him as the one who rescued them from Egypt. This is a very significant starting point, as is our salvation. Most of us will hold on to that moment when we received Christ, that moment when we surrendered our life, and Christ became everything to us, and we pass that on to our children. And this is the thing. He's powerful enough to save us. He's powerful enough to heal us. He's powerful enough to rescue us. It's about his power and who he is and how great he is. And quite often, we're not like Egypt, or sorry, like Israel. We don't hold on to these things. His power is great today, but tomorrow we forget. And we don't use it to instruct people. We don't use it to tell people who he is. We don't use it to instruct our children. We forget about it. We set it aside. And these things are done for us as testimonies, yes, as an anchor point for us so that we can remember the greatness of God, but as well, it's a testimony so that we can be telling others. So as these things happen, as we're healed of diseases, as he provides for us in little ways and miraculous ways, as he uses doctors and people to encourage us, and all these things should be recorded so that we can look back and we can tell her, oh yes, I remember on this date I was facing this, and this is how God came through for me. This is how Yahweh, this is how Jesus rescued me from this situation. There to explain it to our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, because he intends us to be a blessing in this way, to tell it to our neighbor, to tell it to our friends, to tell it to our siblings, our parents, and whoever that we can talk to. This is what he gives to us. And yeah, we're not supposed to treat it lightly. We should have journals. We should be recording these things. We should be plastering it all over Facebook or social media, and get rid of the negativity that we often put out there, and concentrate on the goodness of our God, the goodness of our Father, the goodness of our brother. What has he done for us? Yes, there is our testimony story, but there's things that he does for us today, has done for us today. And these are the things that we need to be sharing. So I want to give that to you. I want to leave that with you. I want you to think about that. I want you to consider recording these things, whether you do it on Facebook, so that you have that remembrance. This happened this time last year or 6 years ago, and it comes up and it reminds you, and you can bless him. You can do it on an audio recording so that you can go back and review it, just have it play through while you're driving. You can write it in a journal, write a book. whatever. There isn't enough books. There's not enough books that tell the testimony of who we are and who our God is. So yeah, let's celebrate that, shall we? You guys be blessed today. Be encouraged, and we'll talk to you soon.